Chris, how you feeling about it? Obviously, we're staying spoiler free, but just the initial how it's hitting you. Are you liking it? Does it feel like rinse and repeat, or does it feel new and fresh? How you feeling? I know you just played some of the older one, and so I don't know if it's maybe a little bit more wearing on you, where I haven't played the other one since I played Miles Morales, for Extra Life, however many years ago that was. And so this is kind of my first foray back into Spider-Man.
Yeah, so this is going to be a little hard. Like, neither of y'all are very far at all. Like, if I say something about, like, a mission type, is that considered spoilery? Should I not say anything? It might kind of lead into my answer.
That's a good question. I'm probably further than you, but I know that Ed is not as far as you are.
If Ed's at 18%, he should have done well. But again, I guess 18% doesn't tell me story-wise. Shoot.
Right.
Are you pretty far in, Chris?
I mean, I feel like I'm decent. I think I'm decently far in, but I don't think I'm like halfway through it or anything.
I'm gonna text you and tell you where I am story-wise.
Okay, I'll kind of side eye that while I mention the other thing. There was a little bit of that fear for me, where I was like, okay, maybe I'm Spider-Man too much. In fact, that's part of the reason why I didn't replay Miles Morales, because I was like, I don't want to Spider-Man myself out right before the game that I'm like, oh man, yeah, I really want to play this game, and I don't want to be like, oh, I just burned myself out by playing two games, even though Miles Morales is relatively small comparatively to Spider-Man 1. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of familiarity to it, as you would probably expect. But there's enough different, and just my excitement in general, and the story itself, obviously, is a completely different story. So there's tons of things in it that have just absolutely been what I was looking to play and looking for. And considering that it's the game that I've done the most this year, or been looking forward to the most this year, beyond excited to continue playing it. And it is going to be, I mean, I don't see how it could not be my game of the year. I mean, I'm even though I'm a mega fan, and I do have that as well, it preloaded before I left. I do have the Metal Gear Solid collection, but I mean, I'm not even necessarily going to rush back and jump into that. Like, I'm not worried about that. I just want to have it so that when I get done with Spider-Man, I can jump back and play those games because they're my favorite series. But I mean, I don't even think like that would be in contingent. I don't see how any game could not be my game of the year, could not be Spider-Man. So yeah, I love it. And then let's see. So shoot, man, I don't know if the thing that I was going to mention, it's been mentioned in articles, but clearly you guys haven't read any articles. And there's been a little bit of a hubbub from the community standpoint. And I want to say that it happens early enough that Ed, you have probably already dealt with it a little bit. Let me do it this way. Is it a story
mission or like a side mission type?
It is a story mission, but I'll do it this way. I'll just talk about 2018 Spider-Man because it kind of relates. Okay. So will that be fair? So in 2018 Spider-Man, something that people didn't care for were like the stealth missions of a character that's not a superhero. Do you guys remember that?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. So that does exist in some realm in this new one as well, but I don't like. Whereas I also got kind of annoyed by those missions and wanted them to be few and far between the first one, and I'm not super far in, so I don't know if they show up all over the place. But when it has happened for me so far in this game, I feel like there's a little bit of quickness to it and a little bit more to it that I'm like, oh, this doesn't bother me. But I'm still seeing people complain about it, so I think that may be the one sticking point that you will see and hear of frequently. But for me, so far, where I am, I actually enjoy them. I'm like, if they're going to be in the game and I understand why they are from a narrative perspective, I like this way of doing it better than I did the prior way.
Oh, that's good.
So I've not had any issue with it so far.
Nice.
Good.
Eduardo, how's it hitting you, brother?
You know, it's funny because they kind of have that opening, like, and now you're swinging, you know, and it just, in the original Spider-Man, that moment hit so hard, you know, when you're like, oh, snap, I'm sweet. This feels like in the beginning of the game. So because I swung before, it doesn't have that kapow impact for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you, Gabe, I haven't really played since Miles. I didn't go back and replay it or anything. So it's like going in the closet and finding like, oh snap, I love these shoes. And you put them on, and you're like, "Oh yeah, these shoes feel great." Yes,
yeah.
It's more like
that hoodie in the winter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I'm having a really, really good time. I like playing as Peter and Miles both. They have two very different feels to them. I think I like Miles more than I do Peter. Chris, yes,
You with their hand up.
Yes,
The redhead with your hand up.
yes,
yes, teams.
One thing that I will say about that, the switching back and forth, I just want to pile on to your how you can switch between the two characters. One thing that I did, it's not a bad thing about the game, but I thought was like maybe a slight miss. You do remember in GTA 5 when it came out? Of course, it was way back on the PS3, and I know they had to do some things like this to kind of hide loading, but they had that cool animation where it like goes up into the sky and then it goes across the country or whatever and goes down. I think they missed an opportunity to do something like, Gabe, what you experienced with switching in between characters. I mean, now granted, it goes so fast that like maybe it didn't make sense. But I would have lived with a little bit of extra time if it would have done something cool like that. I'm 100%. Shocked they didn't do something like that.
Chris, the first time I switched, I went, a dip to black?
Yeah.
That's like how I felt in my heart. I was like, they dipped to black? Why did they dip to black?
Yes.
Especially with some of the other things that we've talked about, how seamless it is. I just was like so bummed. Chris, I felt the exact same way. I was like, oh, what a dip to black. Come on.
It's funny because the very first, kind of like how in Miles, the first big fight was against Rhino, I think. Is that Miles?
Yep. You're right.
Yep.
And so you have like your
you and Pete.
What's that?
You and Peter.
Yeah. And so in this one, your very first intro big fight, they say the name of the character. I'm like, that's not the character's name. Did they change it? That's not. No, that's not his name. And they kept calling him by this name, and I was like, that's not his. That wasn't his name in the movie. I remember that. And I went to IMDb, and I was like, that was his name in the movie. Wow, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, so it is the same guy.
It is the same guy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, I don't remember that ever saying that name before.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was very.
But you're
weird.
liking it?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I like it's with I'm really trying to not be spoilery here. I like it wasn't just like an opening character and you're done. I like the residual effects of that
absolutely.
As well. That's a really cool thing they did.
And I think the way they're laying the story out is really cool too. And I just really, the one thing that's tough is that it feels a little Ubisoftish when I look at the map sometimes.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
ooh, there's a lot to do. And then, and then you go through a story point and then it opens up more and you're like, oh, okay. This is because I'm team platinum Spider-Man. So I'm going to platinum this game. I didn't platinum Miles because you had to play it twice. But I'll hopefully, if you don't have to play this one twice, I'll platinum this one just like I did 2018's Spider-Man? Because I platinumed that one and absolutely loved every bit of it. So, I'm kind of learned my lesson from that, and I'm doing more as I go now instead of kind of wrapping it all up at the end. And so I'm kind of doing more and clearing, sections as I go. But I have no idea what the trophy list is. My PlayStation's doing a weird thing. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had a trophy pop yet, so I don't know if it's just
I haven't either. Now that I think about it,
my syncs aren't working or something, but I haven't had not one, and I'm doing things that I know popped a trophy on the last one, just like as far as like a number of combo or something like that. And I'm like, man, I should have got a trophy pop on this. But
I mean, if you've changed a suit,
it should have popped the trophy.
I'm wondering if I may have at some point for some reason turned off notifications. I didn't even think about that. I don't know if I did.
Yeah, I don't know. So I got to go back and check it because it's bugging me a little bit that I haven't popped any trophies, and I would love to see just that I'm moving forward in that way as well. Tim, I can't wait for you to play this. I feel like, with AC, you don't get that same rest that we've gotten in between the Spider-Mans, but I love that you're loving AC, and I can't wait for you to get to Spider-Man 2. I don't know if it's a system selling game like Mario Kart kind of was for me with the Nintendo. I don't know if I'd tell somebody to go spend $500 to go play Spider-Man 2, but it definitely is like if you have a good enough friend that'll let you borrow their console, I think everybody should play. I just think it's so good. It's so well done.
I would tell you to buy a PS5 for it, only because then...
Would you?
Well, I mean, I guess this isn't a for sure thing, but I would think you probably haven't played Spider-Man the first one, or Miles, even though they are both on PS4.
Yeah.
And even if you had played them, not as good looking as they are on PS5, so... And then you throw in some God of Wars. I think you're at the point now where either system of the Xbox and PlayStation side, you can justify. There's enough games to be like these are showcase pieces. I think it makes sense now. So I think I would.
And I don't know if I don't know if they've brought Miles yet, but I know Spider-Man's on PC, right? So if you're a PC guy, you can play the 2018 Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't think
PC.
Miles is on there yet. I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think it's made its way. But man, oh man, this game's good.
I really like the way they did. You can watch a recap if you want, and I really like the way they did that.
Oh, that's
At the same time, there were a couple things they didn't put in the recap, and so a couple of people pop up, and I'm like, oh, you're around still? Like I don't remember what happened to him at the end.
Yeah. You're not dead?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's fun about Spider-Man and playing with your young sons is that he just knocks people out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Spider-Man and Batman don't kill people, quote unquote.
Right.
And so, there's one mission where, you've beaten up everybody in the room and you have to like go get something off somebody. And he goes, please don't wake up. Please don't wake up. And so it was a nice reminder that I turned to my kids. I was like, see, they're not dead. They're just knocked out.
Nice.
Kind of thing.
I remember in the original, even if you like knock somebody off of a skyscraper,
building,
if you went down and looked, he didn't fall to his death. He's like webbed to the side of the building.
To the building.
Right.
Yeah. I always loved that. I thought that was an interesting detail that they added.
Insomniac is becoming such like it's definitely continues to climb. I mean, Naughty Dog for me has always been the pinnacle of everything, but just everything that they do. And you're right, Gabe. Like I'm just in hearing all this, I'm like, what are they going to do with Wolverine? And I'm super excited for it because I am all for it. I love Wolverine. Everybody loves Wolverine. It's a great character.
I won't be able to play that one with the kids.
Yeah, probably.
Like it's
not.
kind of like you just know up front.
Nope.
Wolverine don't knock people out.
Nope.
I feel like Naughty Dog is, when it comes to PlayStation, Naughty Dog's kind of like, this is going to be a very rare sports reference for Eduardo. I feel like Naughty Dog is like the Peyton. And Insomniac is like Eli, like, well, here I come.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I also have 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good, Ed. Good on you for the sports reference.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think they definitely. I think they work very closely together, and yeah, I think I'm super excited to play this game. You know what's funny? I usually end up playing Spider-Man games around Christmas time. Like I remember I played.
Oh, really?
I played Miles around Christmas. And
did you play it around Christmas, or did you think you did because it was set at Christmas?
No. It's set at Christmas, and I played it around Christmas. Because remember, I waited on Miles for a while too. Probably. Yeah. I forget why. But
probably because of Assassin's Creed.
Probably. But I think what'll happen is I definitely want to finish Mirage because I'm in it now. I'm like I've got a good sense of it, and then according to Ed, it won't take very long. So when that's done, I'll jump right in, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to play it.
I've been very, very fortunate to be to have stayed pretty spoiler free and media blackout. But the only thing I have seen that I always love when a big game comes out is all of the congratulatory messages from the other devs saying congrats on the release. I love seeing that.
Yeah, that's class, man. It's total class. Love that.
Well, and it shows that we're all in it together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
we just love games.
Devs, yeah, who knows better what a dev has gone through than another dev? You know what I mean? That's awesome. So go buy Spider-Man. If you're on the fence about it, get off the fence. Go get it. It's so much fun.